What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. Big days here, Q3 earnings, after hours. I want to go over some of the data points, what is actually moving it right now, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is up 4.58%, 1643 the low, 1718 the high. So there's a couple of things that's really moving Lucid today. One is just piggybacking off of Rivian's very positive earnings, and plus a lot of ratings that have come out associated to Rivian seem very optimistic. So of course, I think both of them kind of piggyback off of each other's earnings. So I think generally that's a good thing. Plus the broader market is rallying. And one is just because yesterday was artificially suppressed through algorithmic trading. And then we did have some fairly good data. So ADP employment did come in at 42,000. Forecast of 20,000, and it's been a while since we've had any true labor data points, largely because of the government shutdown. Even though technically this is good data, which kind of in turn does reduce the likelihood of a cut for the upcoming December 10th meeting. So now it did go from roughly around 72 to 64.5%. Still, the market's taking that as a positive, only because you had Powell, you had a lot of other big names really saying, hey, like consumers are pretty much dead, like they're going to ruin the market. So that data kind of says otherwise. So the market's kind of rallying because of that. Plus we did have good ISM services, came in at 52.4, forecast of 50.8. So all in all, shaping up to be a pretty good day. Nothing really coming out associated to Lucid, no SEC filings. Now we just have to wait for Lucid's upcoming earnings. And there hasn't really been any changes to a lot of the key metrics. So $2.13, negative 213 is that earnings per share, 352.69 million for the revenue. Over the last 90 days, you have 4 positive and 3 negative revisions to the earnings per share. So should be a very interesting earnings. I'm going to be live streaming it as well on a side note, but I think that it's going to come down to their future guidance, whether they reiterate their 2025 targets and plus what their plan is for kind of the mid-size future partnerships, things like that. So definitely, I feel like Wall Street is going to be kind of tough on Lucid. But then again, Rivian did have some red flags and they're up a solid right now about 17.92%. So maybe at the end of the day, Wall Street is just going to see both Lucid and Rivian being just too much. So let me know your viewpoint on that. One thing I do want to bring up, latest 13Fs did signal that within Q3 you had a lot of big names increasing their position in Lucid. So for instance, you had Vanguard increasing 635,000, Charles Schwab increasing 6.2 million, Blackrock 434,000. You had 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧 Management increasing 2.33 million. So big money was definitely buying the Lucid dip in Q3. So we'll kind of wait and see how the rest of them do come out, because most likely we'll still have a lot of the other big players in the game putting out their 13Fs over the next week and a half. So that's a pretty good thing. Leading into Lucid's earnings, though, you're seeing shorts increasing 487,000 shares. I don't know if that's just an attempt to slow Lucid down today or not, but very crazy that we're going into the earnings, 32.1% of the free float being shorted. So I would love to hear Mark or some other individual just say something similar to 𝗪𝗪𝗡𝗃, just saying F the shorts. That would honestly, I would jump up and down. That'd be amazing. Same as if they ask that question or answer that question for bankruptcy. But nonetheless, cost to borrow is a little bit higher, so 29.69. Still nothing too crazy because that's an annual rate. DTC sitting at 4.1 days, so it does really signal that shorts are very, very overextended. Aside from all of that, quickly looking at the options, 1.27 million in calls, 1.24 in puts, and then 40% of all the options being done are bearish in nature. The expected move for Lucid's earnings is about 10.18%, and that works out to be $1.74 in either direction. So anticipate a lot of volatility. When it comes to the bulls, you see now a consensus for it to be between that 18.50 and 20. So I've been doing videos on Lucid pretty much every single day for a while, and there hasn't really been that much optimism. Today, despite everything, like this is the most optimistic bulls have been. So we actually do see at least $20 being on the table now. Prior to today, we had like 18, 18.50 and stuff like that. So between 18.50 and 20 is on the table. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 16. So they seem to be very much kind of consistent with that. Aside from that, these are all the transactions or lack thereof on the secondary market. So this is why I always like to go over where volume comes from. So algos are really feeding off of the positivity. So algos were kind of the culprit yesterday as well as today on both kind of up and down. So right now, only one transaction on the secondary market is a sell for 173,000. So I think big money's clearly waiting for some news. These are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool. So dark pool is often enough used by shorts, and given how much they are active today, it is fair to assume that most of this is linked to them. With it right now at 17.14, it is right below this S1. So 17.16 is going to be that key pivot for Lucid today. But no matter what, post earnings, it's probably going to be either the higher end closer to pivot or breaking down closer to this S1. So it's going to kind of move in either direction. I don't really anticipate it to be neutral. So I do feel like there is going to be some move that does happen. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. Aside from all that, quickly popping over to the chart, there still really isn't that much positive things to bring up. It's below all the key pivotal moving averages. Only positive, I guess, which could help going into the earnings, is the fact that it is just mind-blowingly oversold. But aside from all of that, though, looking at the market position, you see a little bit more willing buyers, a little bit of a gap right here. So it's going to be a very interesting earnings. So let me know your viewpoint on Lucid and what you are expecting to hear. I'll be putting out that the live stream link shortly, so make sure you guys tune in for that. It should be a fun earnings. But with all that said, appreciate all of you guys watching. One final thing, pop over to, I did always have a Patreon, but I recently did move over to Stacked, and I'm doing a promo right now because I just launched it roughly about an hour ago. So you can get it for $1. So if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, pop over here, take a look. I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades, many of which have been absolutely on point. So pop over there, take a look at that. Let me know your viewpoint. And with all that, appreciate all of you watching.